So, before I started this PhD world, I was actually a junior infant teacher for a number of years, which means that I spent most of my days trying to manage 30 undomesticated 5-year-olds, all of whom thought that asking me questions I didn't know the answer to was an Olympic sport. But sometimes I got my own back on them by showing them images like this. And there we have the first technical difficulty. And then I would ask them the question. I'd ask them what you saw: a man playing the saxophone, a lady's face, or both. And then I'd wait for the head to tilt, kind of like what some of you just did there. Because when I saw the head tilt, I knew then they were really questioning what they were looking at. So what does this have to do with digital assessments? Well, much like everything else in our lives, assessments are going digital. Even the Leaving Certificate, the most sacred of all Irish educational institutions, plans to have a computer-based exam in place next year in June 2020. And everyone's really excited about this move towards digital assessments because it's assumed that we can get more accurate information about a test taker's knowledge, skills, and abilities using digital assessments. Because we can use multimedia objects like video clips, audio clips, and high-definition images to create more realistic tasks and more authentic questions for test takers. We can even submit behaviours for assessments using virtual realities. It sounds ideal. But, and there's always a but when you're trying to convince someone it's a good idea to leave a pensionable teaching job, we don't actually know if that's the case. We just assume that multimedia objects like video clips and audio clips can improve the assessment process. We don't know it for definite though. We need to be more like my junior infants, and we need to remember to tilt our heads and really question how we're designing digital assessments with multimedia objects. And thankfully, research has started this head tilting process. When they included a text-only question in their anatomy-based exam, Vorstenbach et al. Found themselves assessing their students' ability to recall information. But when they included an image in the exact same question, they suddenly found themselves assessing their students' ability to interpret information. So multimedia objects can change what we're assessing, and that could have a lot of implications for our assessments. So too found the work of Malone and Brunken. They found that some multimedia objects were better than others at identifying who really knew their stuff. In a test involving novice drivers, they found that their students did a lot better on assessments involving videos. But it was the assessment that used a standard image that was much better at identifying a road-ready user. So that has a lot of implications. Eye tracking research by Linder et al. Has also told us something interesting too. They've said that depending on the different multimedia objects used, test takers will use different test-taking strategies and pay attention to different things in digital assessments. So all this research is telling us is that digital assessments aren't an evolution, they're a revolution. We need new rules and ideas for their effective design. Enter me and my research. What I hope to do, I want to see if and how different types of multimedia objects can have an impact on test taker performance in online environments. And I also want to see if test takers in these environments will experience different types of strategies and engage in different types of strategies as a result of the different types of multimedia objects used in their digital assessments. To do that, I'm going to compare groups of test takers. And by doing so, one group of test takers will experience a test involving a video, another one a test involving an image, another one a test involving text. And then I'm going to compare their performance. And I'm also going to do a sub-study, an eye tracking study, just to see what these test takers pay attention to. To do that, I'm going to create a test involving the 2015 Scientific Literacy Assessment from the Programme of International Student Assessment, and I'll modify them. And because I'm using that assessment, I'm going to work with transition year students in their schools, and around 20% of my sample will be dedicated to eye tracking. But, another but, I am a first year student, so some terms and conditions may apply. What I do may change, but why I'm doing this research won't. We need to remember to tilt our heads and question how we're designing digital assessments. Because if we don't, we might one day find something unexpected staring back at us. Thank you very much.